What's good, YouTube? Storm here, coming at you guys another video today. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I decided I would do a Master Duel replay commentary. Now, obviously, this is going to be with Branded Despia. As this is going up, 2 elements just came out, but unfortunately I did not have enough gems to build it. But I thought with the recent Branded Despia deck profile, even though the decks are different, because obviously we have, in the actual game, we have the Darkwing Blast and the Photon Hypernova cards. I thought it would be a little interesting to kind of do a Master Duel. Now, obviously Tears did just come out, and I already lost the deck already in ranked, but this is a matchup against Melffy, which is actually a brand new deck in the game, so I thought we would go ahead and go and get started and get some commentary. So if you're looking at this hand, this is a pretty good hand. I mean, the only problem is I think it's a little bottlenecked, obviously, because you have Branded Fusion needs to resolve in this particular hand. But you do have the, if it does resolve, you do have the edge up to discard off of Rebellion, grab Patchwork, and the Maxi kind of like that. So we'll go ahead and play it out. So to start it off, I do just go ahead and normal summon the Luber. Luber's effect and activates, and I do get the search. I opted to go for Expulsion here. I think with Tier being in the game, you need to go for the Expulsion lock as often as possible, because it's one of the few things that going first that could completely lock them out. So he does Ash my Branded Fusion, which is unfortunate. I don't have the Called by the Grave to respond to it, which does suck. So I opted not to set the Expulsion because I don't have a target for it. There's no reason to let it get blown up, so I just go ahead and pass turn back to my Melffy opponent. I think that was probably the optimal play there. I just don't think I had really like anything else to do. So he normal summons the Wally. And I went ahead and just go ahead and max C here because I only vaguely know what a lot of these cards do, but I figured stop him in his tracks, and he passes turn back to me. But he does special summon the Caffey in his end phase from the hand. So I do get the 1-for-1 off of, and I do draw an Ash Blossom off the top of the deck. So so I go ahead and draw for turn. I see another Maxi, and he doesn't have an XE on the board, so I don't really have a play. This was a misplay on my part. I'm unfamiliar with Melffys, so that they have effects that trigger when they're attacked. So the best thing to do, so once I read that though, I did go ahead and Ash Blossom it, but unfortunately he had the Called by the Grave set, which sucks. It's unfortunate, but you know, things happen. But I thought that I didn't want to. I opted not to max C here because I wanted to have it for the following turn, because I knew if it could prevent me from dying, that's the main thing. It was not an optimal play here, I think, to max C, because I was only going to get a couple draws, and there's a good potential he kills me on the following turn no matter what. So I figured optimal thing to do was just to let him get his summons, and then go from there. Now, if I didn't attack into it, I think, and just possibly pass turn back to him, I think that would have been probably the optimal play there. But yeah, that definitely was a little misplay on my part. So goes back to him, and immediately on the draw phase, I just go ahead and chuck the Maxi. I don't want him to go to main phase and make an exceed, so I just went ahead and chucked it immediately during the draw phase. So he gives me a start here. That he opts to take the Maxi challenge here, which I think is going to turn out to be a mistake. Spoiler alert. So he goes for various Melffys. Again, it's special summoned, so he opts to bounce my Aluber. I'm guessing the only thing I can think about this is that he was trying to clear. He might have, I guess he thought he had an OTK, but I don't think it was an optimal move to bounce the Aluber here, because I was going to get, in case I get the search on the following turn. So, and then he goes for starter. Now I'm guessing he needed the starter, because as you're going to see, he's not going to OTK me here, so he didn't go for Gamma Burst. I guess not a lot of Sprite players play it, but I just felt like his play line was a little weird, because he goes for Gigantic here, but he could have gone for Elf first, then gone for Gigantic to give Gigantic a little more attack, and then go into Cat Shark, and potentially at that point he might have enough to kill me. He probably has enough to kill me. If he goes for Elf and then overlays Elf for Gigantic, and then it has the resources to make a Cat Shark, which I think he does. He probably OTKs me here, but I don't think maybe he's just brand new to Melffys, but I've been playing Sprite a little bit on Master Duels, and so I personally think this play line was a little awkward, because he only leaves me on 700 life points, gives me a bunch of cards, and all I have is the Ash Blossom, so I think if he played it out a little bit differently, he definitely could have OTK'd me here. But he doesn't. Spoiler alert. But he's giving me all these cards off of Max C, and this is why the card is banned in the TCG. Probably should be banned in Master Duel 2. But he ends up making Joyous Melffy here. Again, I'm a little unfamiliar with the Melffy cards, so and he ends up going to battle phase, and he leaves me on 700 life points, but I have so many cards in hand that it really doesn't matter. Like, he's giving me so many cards, and his only set card here is an Imperm, and the only disruption he's going to have is the small sprite monsters. So, and it really didn't leave him an and he also didn't have optimal tribute fodder either. So I do think that was a thing as well. So he goes for Masquerena here, and standard sprite stuff gives me another card, and then pass the turn back to me. So during the end phase, he's going to attach as well. But I have so many cards here, I don't think it matters. I have the Ecclesia that can special summon herself. I have the Mercurier for when I do get a fusion out. So I'm going to top deck the Brandon. Now this was a misplay on my part. I activate the Brandon Lost, but he's got a set Imperm in the same column. I definitely should have set it in another column, because that would have allowed definitely made sure my fusion plays go through. But that was definitely a misplay on my part. Now he goes for Elf here. I do not activate the Ecclesia here because the only thing it can target is Elf. So I know he has the Carrot up, so I went ahead and activate the Alubra effect. He opts to, and I think he opts to go for the red here. He doesn't want to tribute his Melffy, so he ends up tributing the Spell Negator instead. So now that the Spell Negator's out of the way, and I baited the Monster Negate, I go ahead and go for Ecclesia. There's a Branded Fusion in Grave, but even though I won't have access to a Branded Fusion here, I can just put one of my Albazes back in the deck to then use Branded Fusion later in the turn. So I go ahead and activate the Alubra here, pitching the Tragedy, and this I believe, and he's going to go ahead and Imperm it right here. And this is where I misplayed. Because I activated the Lost in a different column, that meant that if he had some sort of other negation for one of my fusion spells, and I also don't get my Lost Surge, not that it really matters in this case because I've got so many cards in hand, but that's a plus. It's a plus you're missing, so it is a misplay on my part. But he's going to go ahead and go for Avermax. Now, Avermax was, I think, this is pretty standard stuff. It's immune to destruction here, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to make Mirror Jade. And Mirror Jade's going to get rid of it. But because I still have the Polys and double Poly in hand, so it's going to be fine. So go ahead and activate the Poly here. I opt to discard, I believe, the Edge Imp because I want to go. I believe I went for my first Libellion here, and then discarding the Chain and the Albaz in my hand. Yep, there we go. And then Libellion's gonna. Now I summon in defense mode, obviously, because it can't attack. So unless you're going to not activate its effect, so I go ahead and discard the Retribution just in case I need to recycle a spell and trap. I've already gone through my Polys, but I don't see a reason why not to activate the Edge Imp here. So he's going to go for the Melffy effect, but because I have a fusion on the board, I've got the Mercurier to negate it, which is great. And the Mercurier is going to trigger to negate it. Mercurier is a great card, obviously, and for this reason, things like this. So the Melffy's going to get negated, the Edge Imp's going to resolve, and the Libellion is going to summon Mirror Jade. I go ahead and opt to shuffle the Libellion back into the extra deck as fusion material and the Albaz back in order to go ahead and summon. It's going to be Mirror Jade, I believe. Yes. So, and yeah, and there's Mirror Jade. And the Mirror Jade, and I go ahead and activate the Mirror Jade. I don't know if I activate the Mirror Jade here, but yeah, I go ahead and activate it to get rid of the Avermax, because it can't be targeted, it can't be destroyed, but it can be banished. So, and then I still have a Tragedy in Grave, so I go ahead and, since I discarded, I go ahead and banish it to reset the Branded Fusion that got negated earlier in the turn. Go ahead and activate it here. I opt to go for the Libellion again, so I can put the Gimmick Puppet in the grave just in case he happens to have any kind of way to do anything, and I have the Expulsion already in hand. So I go ahead and go for another Libellion. Now I do think this was a third misplay on my part. I I can see I had a Dragos. I might have had a, like, say, a Dragos Stapelia play or some other fusion I could have made to maybe do a little bit more damage, because I did have the second Poly in hand, as well as, it's not going to matter too much. So I go ahead and attack with Rebellion, and then attack with everything, and set the Expulsion. And he's going to be on 2 cards at this point, so it's going to be really difficult for him to, under Gimmick Puppet. I don't think he's going to be able to do much plays here. So I go ahead and set the Expulsion, and just set the Branded opening, and then I also get all these end phase effects. So I'm going to get the Branded in red set from the deck, and then I'm going to get Ecclesia back to my hand. All these like branded effect recycling them are so Cells from the Grave, and the end phase is so dumb. Anyways, Ecclesia is going to add herself back, and I don't think with this kind of setup there's really anything like most decks can do. When he goes to draw phase, though, I go ahead and opt to flip the Expulsion. If he's got to answer, he's got it. In this case, he happens to. I didn't have access to Gold Sark or Cross Out in this particular situation. There was really no way for me to, play around something like Called By or Glow Spell. But if you do have access to Gold Sark or Cross Out Designator, you can banish your Expulsion target, and then Expulsion can grab it. And it's because it's not because you're grabbing stuff from the banish pile. They can't Called By it, and they can't Ghost Spell it. But anyways, it's not going to matter too much. I think at this point he's just like, I'm done. So he summons his monster and just basically attacks and kills himself. It's actually my first time playing against Melffy on Master Duel, so I don't think I did too bad. Obviously, I did have some misplays, but anyways, that is the end of the replay. Let me know what you guys thought of this replay down in the comment section down below. Are you excited for the new Tier Element and Melffy card that recently got added to Master Duel? Or you're going to be playing something else? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. This is Aurastorm, signing out.